My name is Peter Brook-Ball and I'm a sculptor who lives and works in South England. Originally I wanted to be a painter, but when I first went to art college and it quickly became obvious that my true vocation was sculpture, and I've done it ever since. Over the years I've started to focus more on stone and wood, usually incorporating a soft material like leather or rope. I like the combination of something soft like rope defining the shape of something hard like stone or wood. It's a contradiction, it's an irony. You sometimes have different colours. You might have red and white or black and grey, and that just brings out the contrast between the two. But I think it's the contrast between hard and soft. It's stimulating in that it's peculiar, so it makes people think, and that's good. Materials has always been important to me, as is drawing. I find drawing is sometimes defines what material you may use. Sometimes you just see things that it can be natural, it can be man-made, but for some reason it captures your imagination, you draw it, you take photographs of it maybe, you do sketches and something may come out of it. I'm a traditionalist in that I use drawing to develop sculpture. Just pen and paper, and sometimes I use splashes of ink, or I use a lot of tea and I dribble it all over the place and it develops into a drawing. Choosing stone is always difficult, and there are big quarries in parts of England which I get stone from. Exotic stone like marble has to come from Italy or Portugal or Turkey. You've got to be careful using a stone because you don't want the stone to be too beautiful, because then it can detract from the sculpture. If you've got a very beautiful stone, you tend to look at the stone not more than the sculpture. So the stone I use is fairly bland. The limestone is usually pure white or sometimes has fossils in it. Marble is veined, so it has sweeping colours in it, but it's not too dominant. Granite has flecks of colour, but again it's fairly uniform, which I quite like. When it comes to actually making a piece, I have lots of different stone just lying about, and if I have an idea and I see a stone that would be appropriate for that idea, then I start work on it. Initially I use heavy tools to work it. You may have to split a stone, you drill lots of holes and split it, and then gradually various machines refine the piece. When I'm using rope or a soft material around a piece, I prepare the piece so that I know how the rope is going to fit, and fitting the rope can be very difficult. Once I've got the basic shape for a piece, then which is the easy part, it's finishing that it takes time. You use finer sandpapers or grits, right down to 2100, which is very, very fine. I do like things that incorporate nature, which is why I put things in trees. I don't see why things should always stand up from the ground. I don't see why they can't come down from above. I try to avoid making any obvious statement in my pieces. I'm not concerned in my sculpture with human rights or climate change, and not politics. It's all apolitical. It's a very personal statement. It's emotional, but I'm not going to say what emotions. I think it's almost impossible to explain, because sculpture is a visual and tactile medium, and not a verbal one. The best I can hope for is for people to interpret it themselves. If it provokes thought or inquisitiveness or whatever, that's great. Some people interpret it as bondage, sexual bondage. It's not. It's more of a containment. The rope around stone is more isolating, containing a thought, a nightmare, whatever it might be. It's containing it and keeping it separate. Sometimes the best critics are children, because they have no preconception of what a piece of work should be, what it should say or whatever. They don't worry about it. I think if humour has a good part to play in sculpture, I don't think everything should be dead serious. I think it should be have fun, make people smile. Nothing wrong with that.